Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Erika Papa. This is Bobby. And today I'm going to be coming to you guys with a hair video. I've been doing DIY blonde at home for about 2 years now, and I just get so many questions on the regular, whether it's DMs, in comments, in person. And I did a poll recently on Insta Stories, and a lot of people said that they wanted to see how I do it. So I figured I would film this video for you guys. I actually filmed me doing my root touch-up. This is after, but I have the footage that I'm going to insert so that you guys can see exactly what I use to achieve this blonde at home and keep my hair still on my head. Also, in this video, I'm going to show you guys, even though I've shown it in an old past video, how I tone my platinum blonde extensions. It's really simple, and I added that in here too, just so that you guys can see an updated version. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I achieve this blonde at home, then just keep watching. So the first step is going to be grabbing your product that you're going to be lightening with. In this case, it is the Redken blonde icing. This is professional quality product. You have to buy this at like a Cosmoprof or some store like that where you need your cosmetology license. However, I never graduated beauty school, so I find this on eBay. I find this on Amazon sometimes, and you do have to be careful to watch out for bootleg versions of the product. If you don't feel comfortable with looking for this exact product online because you're scared you might get a fake, you can always just add an oil like this Bondi Boost hair oil. It's just really going to help to moisturize your hair while you're doing the bleaching process, because bleach is very drying. I love the Redken blonde icing because it creates a really thick formula. So that's also really nice for not having the product bleed onto hair that you don't want to treat, and it just stays where you put it. So I just really like that product. I try to track it down whenever I can. I find that my hair feels better when I use that than any other bleach. So that, or adding a bunch of hair oil, is going to be your best bet. So I've sectioned my hair into 4 sections to make working through the head easier. This is what they teach you in cosmetology school, and also I'm just now starting to apply the product to the part around the exterior of the part, I guess you could say. So I'm starting on the back of the head because that takes longer to process for me. And we're going to work all the way around the edges. This is called blessing the part. But basically we're just going to isolate the quadrant that we're going to be lightening, like this. Now we're going to start at the crown and work our way all the way down to the nape. And you're going to want to do thinner sections so that you do not miss any hair. All the roots need to be saturated, but try not to go over that line that's already blonde. That's where you can get really bad breakage. So I'm just going to work my way down the head, really thin sections, making sure I saturate everything. And this is going to need to be a kind of quick process. You don't want to take too much time with this. What I ended up doing was focusing on the back of my head for the sake of doing this myself and filming the whole process. I didn't want to rush it, so I actually just did the back of my head, waited until it was done, washed it out, and then I come back and I show you guys the front, because this is a time-consuming thing, and people in the salon that are doing your hair are very skilled at doing this part quickly, so everything can develop at the same rate. So what I did was I just broke it up. I did the back, waited until it was done processing, and then I went ahead and washed it out before I started the front. So the application is going to be the same if you are not just doing a root touch-up, but an entire bleach and tone. Of course, there are factors that come into play, like what is your original color? Is it virgin hair? Is it previously colored hair? Everything is going to give you a different result, but the same basic rules apply. Another great tip is make sure your hair is greasy. This protects the scalp since we're putting the bleach directly on the scalp. The natural oils from your head, if you are on, whether you wash your hair once a week or whatever, but if you're on that like 1 week hair where your hair is greasy and oily, those natural oils are really going to do a great job at protecting your scalp and your hair. So once we're done with the other side, we got to jump right into the side that hasn't been done yet, because we want these to process as quickly as possible. These are fast forwarded clips, but I tried to get this process done in under 20 minutes because otherwise one of the sides is going to be lighter than the other, and we want them to be even. So after I've covered that entire side and flipped the hair back over, I go through and I recheck any areas that might need to be hit again with a little bit extra bleach. This is going to ensure that the side that I just did might go a little quicker and catch up with the side that I did first. And then in these clips, you're going to see me dragging it down. Now, you do not want to do this if you have a bleach and tone. This is very risky. However, I was willing to take the risk because previously I had put lowlights in my hair and that had caused some banding the last time that I bleached. So I just dragged it down a little bit at my own risk to get that yellow out and get everything even. But you don't want to do this with a typical bleach and tone or if you're not experienced. So next thing I did was wash out the back, and the front got a little wet in the process, so I blow dried that, made sure it was completely dry, and then I put the back in a clip and started to work on the front. So I mixed together the same exact formula and I attempted to do the front. So this I tried to be even quicker because they're not that large of sections. The back was already done, so I just tried to really make sure that this is all going to be lifting evenly since it's the top and the front of my head. So I know that all of you probably already know this, but just to clarify, I am bleaching the top and the bottom of each section that I pass through so that we get really good coverage. I'm not just hitting, the top of each layer and then going to the next layer. I'm hitting the top and bottom of each layer so that we don't get any patches. So after I was done with those front sections, I decided to do something pretty risky. I wouldn't advise it unless you're in a similar situation to me. And even at that, if you don't trust yourself, this is highly risky material right here. But I went in on the wet back section and reapplied bleach to some of the sections that I felt like I was still seeing some yellowing. It was banding from previous lowlights, and I really just wanted to get everything as even as possible. But like I said, super risky stuff unless you're ballsy like me and your hair can handle it, or I used even extra oil in that formula right there. So I just put it on for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes tops while the front was finishing processing, and then washed it out altogether. Of course, I'm adding even more oil to my ends because I will not miss an opportunity to coat my hair in oil, especially while I am coloring my hair. So here we are after the bleach is rinsed out, and most people get really terrified at this point, but this is the exact color you want to be at before toning, so don't be afraid. So another thing that I asked on my Instagram stories was, do you prefer to see how I do my hair when it's more of a warm platinum blonde like I have been more recently? Or do you guys prefer the icy blonde, which I've rocked for years on and off? It actually surprised me. 54% of you guys said you want to see the warm and 46% said you want to see icy. Basically, the only difference between the warm and the cool is how I go about the aftercare. So I bleach the hair either way, obviously, and then after, if I'm going for a cool look, I'm going to go in with a toner, which I'm going to show you guys in the clips following. If I don't want it to be super icy, I just go in with an intense purple shampoo and conditioner. If you're like a level 1 or 2 or 3, you might really need a toner just to get to like a nice warm blonde that's not too yellow. But if you are on the dirty blonde, light brown spectrum with your natural color, then you probably are going to lift high enough on your own that you're not going to need a crazy toner, and you can just use a purple shampoo if you're just looking for a warm result. If you're looking for an icy result, you're probably going to require a toner, period. In the following clips, you're just going to see the types of toner I use and the process of me applying it. So something to note about the toning process, the reason that I do a bleach and tone nowadays and I do not do highlights like I used to attempt to at home, not only is it more difficult to do highlights on your own head, especially in the back of your head, it is easier to do a bleach and tone, but besides that, this specific toner is my favorite. But when you put this toner with the 20 volume Wella developer onto your base, say you were to do highlights and you had a root showing, that root will lift and it will turn orange. So I found the best way to get even all over coverage that I want without any yellowing that I don't want is to do a bleach and tone, root to scalp, and then let it grow out, but everything is one even tone. You could get away with it, but you have to be very, very careful because anything that you place this toner on is going to lift, including your root. I decided to go with the T14 as well as the T18, and I just used half of both. Be aware that if you do it that way, the other half of the product might go bad. So it's kind of like one container, no matter how much you use, is one use. And then I just comb it downward, but leave the ends out because they will grab to be darker because they're more porous. Also, I thought I'd mention at this point before I have gone in with a shadow root while toning my hair, so if you want a shadow root, now would be the time to do it. I always use demi-permanent for that because it's easier to lift out the next time you do a bleach and tone. So here is the finished result. I used Olaplex number 3 while washing it out. This is great at rebuilding broken bonds. But on top of this, I just want to let you guys know that you shouldn't be conditioning after you wash out your bleach. You have to carefully make sure that you comb out your hair and apply the toner on unconditioned hair. This is going to make your toner last twice as long. And then once you wash the toner out, that is the perfect time to deep condition. Yeah, the process is coming to an end. I just applied some hair oil and now I am going to blow dry. Okay, so the last and final step is going to be toning your extensions to match your hair. So this is not going to require a toner. It would definitely not react the same way that it would on your natural hair. Extensions can be tricky, and basically they put a glaze over the hair to make it look really shiny, so you never really know how a toner is going to react. It could grab too dark. It just doesn't work the same as it does with natural hair. So I just like this method, a little warm water in your sink with some purple shampoo of your choice, and you can decide how dark you want to make the water depending on how deep you want to tone the extensions. I even added a little bit more than usual, and I would have scaled it back a little bit. So I just quickly wanted to show you guys my set of extensions that I've already toned and rooted. This is what they look like. This is a platinum blonde set, and then this is a new platinum blonde set. So this has no root at all whatsoever, so it's great for a bleach and tone to the scalp, and it hasn't been toned. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it is a good amount warmer, and we're just going to be adding the slightest tint to it. I only want it to get to the color that I just created on my scalp, so I'm not even trying to tone it that much, and I really should have let the water be a lighter shade of purple. You can see I could almost get away with it without toning it at all. So just use your own discretion, but I'm just going to be soaking the extensions. A little tip that I would give you is to soak them from the top of the weft and then put the end of the weft in last, because what tends to happen with extensions of any kind is they grab at the ends the darkest because they are the most porous there. So here's the dry untoned weft next to the wet toned weft, and you can see it's not a massive difference, but it is a significant difference when they're dry, especially when you're trying to get your extensions to blend as best as possible. Then I just wash out any excess shampoo and I spray them with a lot of conditioning type mists. I apply some oils and then I leave them to air dry overnight. So this is the final result of my hair coloring process at home. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video and the tutorial. It wasn't the easiest to film me doing my hair. I do feel like you could get away with this at home if you have the confidence to do so. You know, with the pandemic right now, it's kind of crazy going into a salon and risking your health. If you're like me and you have autoimmune issues, you don't really want to be out in public for a very long time. I've just gotten really used to doing my hair at home. At the salon, this would cost hundreds of dollars. The extensions these days at the salon cost hundreds, if not over $1,000. I personally like clip-ins more because they're less damage, especially when you are bleaching to the scalp. You don't really want permanent extensions. I don't care what any stylist tells you. You don't really want permanent extensions when you're bleach and toning your hair, especially if you're like me and you have fine thin hair. you're gonna end up having your hair fall out like I did. I'd rather do clip-ins where I can shower without the extensions in, because when these extensions get wet, honey, they are so heavy. You do not want that pulling on bleached, damaged hair. I have one set of the Platinum Blonde Foxy Locks in right now. I custom trim them at home myself. What I actually do for my wefts is I label them. I know exactly where they're going, and I'm able to put them back in the same order every time so that I look like I have a more custom cut. It's not blunt at the ends. Do whatever you want if you want blunt ends, but I'm just telling you what I do. So I have more, you know, face framing layers. I'm having fun with the really light hair. We'll see how long it lasts. Knowing me, it could only last a week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you want to. And if you do want to subscribe, maybe hit the notifications bell so that you can see when I come out with future videos. Anything hair related, if you want to see me do a video on it, just leave me a comment down below. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.